All right. So your at-home review starts off with this question: a repairman got on an elevator 3 floors above ground level. So if this is ground level, he is 3 floors above that. 1, 2, 3. All right. So he is up here to start off. Now it says the elevator went down 2 floors. 1, 2. Went up 14 floors. Went up 14. And then went down 6 floors. Then the repairman got off the elevator. What floor of the building did the repairman last stop? Okay, so he started at +3. He went down 2, so that's why it's negative. Went up 14, and then down 6 more. So we've got 3 minus 2 plus 14 minus 6. All right, whenever you see subtraction, I need you to add. The opposite of 2 is -2. All right, add. The opposite of 6 is -6. All right, so this is the equation or the expression that we're dealing with actually, and we're trying to find out what it equals because that'll tell you at what floor of the building did the repairman last stop. So I told you guys today in class that since we've got addition throughout, we can use what is called the commutative property of addition. So I can make it to where I've got -6 plus -2 plus 3 plus 14. I can rearrange it however I want to as long as I have addition all the way throughout. All right, so what I told you today in class was that you can do this part first. Put all your negatives together and do that part first. And we get -8 because they're the same sign, so we just straight up add them. Now I'm going to put my positives together. So we've got 3 plus 14. 3 plus 14 is 17. So we've got -8 plus 17. But we're not done yet. We have to do this part. All right, we've got a negative and a positive. And remember our rule, same sign, add and keep. Different sign, subtract, bigger number. So different sign, you do the subtraction and you keep the sign of the bigger number. All right, these are different because we've got a negative and a positive, so we subtract. The absolute value of 17 is 17. We subtract the absolute value of -8. Okay, absolute value. Okay, and we get 9 for an answer. We keep the sign of the bigger number. Remember, keep the sign of the bigger number. And so the bigger number was 17. So it is +9. So he is 9 floors up from the ground. And that's your answer. All right, next one. Remember that these two lines tell you absolute value. If you've got a number between two lines like that, it's absolute value. All right, so this means absolute value. What is the absolute value of 6? Well, that would be the distance from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from 0. So the absolute value is 6. Now, the absolute value of 6 is positive because it's the distance from 0. Okay? All right, so we've got that one taken care of. Now we've got this one. It says standard time is computed in relation to Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. The table shows the number of hours from GMT for each city. What is the average difference in time from GMT? So we're trying to find the average. Remember, to find the average, you add up all the numbers that you have. You're going to add them all up. And then we divide by the number of numbers you added up. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers that we're adding. So we're going to end up dividing by 7. Okay. So first we need to add them up. So we've got 2 plus negative 10 plus negative 8 plus 1 plus negative 15 plus 9 plus negative 7. Okay, remember that tip of take it out if you've got addition throughout. Addition throughout. You can take all your negatives and add them up. So we've got negative 10 plus negative 8 plus negative 15 plus negative 7. So I took out only the negatives. I'm going to add those up. So we got 10 plus 8. Since they're the same sign, you just add. So that's negative 18. Now we add the 15 to that. Negative 18 plus negative 15. They're both the same sign. So that's 33 negative. Then you add the negative 7. And you get negative 40. But we have to do all the positives. So this plus 1, this plus 9, and this plus 2. So we've got to add up all our positives. So we add up all our positives, and we get 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 9. 3 plus 9 is 12. All right, so we've got 12 and negative 40, so negative 40 plus 12. Okay. All right, these are different signs. We've got a negative and a positive. Different signs, you subtract. So the absolute value of 40 is negative 40 is 40. The absolute value of 12 is 12. We always put the bigger number on top. And I have to borrow. We've got 8 when we subtract, and 2. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Which one was bigger? That's correct. Negative 40, so it's a negative 28 is when you add them all up, okay? So we added them all up, but don't forget, when you find average, you have to add them all up and divide. So we have to divide still. So we've got negative 28 divided by 7. Well, that's 28 inside, 7 outside. Remember your triangle? Negative, negative, positive. We've got a negative and a positive, and we're dividing, so negative and positive. So we know our answer should be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put a negative here. Now we've got 7 goes into 2. Nope. So that's a 0. 7 goes into 28. Yes, it sure does. 4 times. So our answer is 4. Negative 4. Negative 4 is the average difference in time. All right. Next question. It says Charlie is describing a number to his friends. The number's absolute value is 7. So the absolute value of the number equals 7. Well, We know that that could be positive 7. We know that that could be negative 7 on the inside, but we're not sure. Okay? It says its opposite is 7. Well, what's opposite is 7? Well, the opposite of negative 7 is 7, right? Let's not put an equal sign there so you don't get confused. We'll put the opposite. All right, so the opposite of negative 7 is 7. That's what it says here, right? We're looking for the number whose opposite is 7. Well, the number whose opposite is 7 is negative 7. Let's see if it works for the absolute value. If I make this a negative 7 inside our absolute value sign, remember, absolute value is always going to be positive. So whatever this is, it's the distance from 0. So here's 0. And negative 7 is here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. The absolute value is 7 here, which is perfect. So our answer is negative 7 is the number we're looking for. Okay? Because the number we're looking for, what is the number we're looking for? 7, negative 7 was the number that we're looking for. All right, so we're going to draw counters on here. This is negative 7, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got our negative 7 over here. We're adding 3. Those are positive 3. What's another way you could write that? Well, we could write it like this. 3 plus negative 7. Okay. Or you could write it 7, negative 7 minus negative 3. But we'll stick with this one just to stay consistent. All right, so we've got positive 3 and negative 7. So that's what it's looking for there. You could have written this one too, and it would all give you the same answer. All right. Now we've got Sandy claims the temperature was negative 12 degrees last Tuesday. Negative 12 on Tuesday. Martin insists the temperature was 10 degrees. That was Sandy on Tuesday. Martin on Tuesday, he says it was 10 degrees. Below that. Oh, below that. Gotta know that. So what would 10 degrees below negative 12 be? Well, here's negative 12. 11. Or wait, not 11. Negative 12, negative 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so there's 10 below. Up here is going to be 0, negative 1, and so on and so forth. So it goes negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16, negative 17, negative 18, negative 19, negative 20, negative 21, negative 22. Okay, the way you could also do this was negative 12 minus 10, or negative 12, when you see subtraction, you add the opposite, and that would get you negative 22 as well. Okay, all right, so we've got the temperature at negative 10. Below that, write an expression to represent Martin's temperature. Solve the expression. Oh, I just did that. Sorry. I tried to do it without even trying. Okay, so you've got negative 12. We're trying to say that it was below that. It was 10 degrees below that. So since it's below, that's why it's a negative. Either one of those expressions would work. They would both end up being negative 22. Okay? And I showed you over here. When you're going down, it's a negative. Okay? All right. Write and solve a problem to represent the model. All right, we start at 0, and we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was to the right 9, so that's a positive 9, because when we go to the right, it's positive. Now we went back 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So this is where we stopped at 5. So since I went to the left, left is negative, so that's a negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So it says write and solve a problem. Well, all I need is an expression, so something without an equal sign. So we've got positive 9 minus 4, or 9 plus negative 4 when we add the opposite. Okay. Either one of those expressions works. Write and solve the equation shown by the model. So we're going to write an equation. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 positive dots. So we're going to put 9, and that's a positive. And we've got 1, 2, 3 negatives. So we can do 9 minus 3. Or 9 plus negative 3, because you just add the opposite. So we're sitting with that equation and solve. Well, we've got different signs, so we subtract absolute value of 9, absolute value of 3, get 6, keep the sign of the bigger number. 9 was bigger, so it's a positive 6, which you can see right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer is 6 to both of those. Simplify the expression. In class, I told you to get rid of the parentheses, but know that if you have something inside parentheses, you need to follow PEMDAS. Okay? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division left to right, and addition, subtraction left to right. So whichever comes first, left to right. Okay, so in this question we've got 2 times the quantity 5 minus 11 minus 15. You've got to do the parentheses first. 5 minus 11. Well, add the opposite, so that's 5 plus negative 11. Different signs, subtract. Absolute value of 11, negative 11 is 11. The reason I do that is because I always want the bigger number on top. The absolute value of 5 is 5. 11 minus 5 is 6. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 11 was bigger, so we keep the sign. So now we've got 2 outside, negative 6 minus 15. When you see this, you've got multiplication, so I have to multiply 2 times negative 6. Well, 2 times negative 6, we need to know our triangle for. So we've got a positive 2 and a negative 6, so we know our answer is going to be negative. Negative 12. Minus 15. When you see subtraction, you add the opposite. Don't forget the part where you do the opposite. Okay, add the opposite. So originally it was minus 15, so it's plus negative 15. Now they're the same sign, negative 12 and negative 15. So you get adding them, because if they're the same sign, add and keep the sign. So same sign, we add and keep. That's 27 when we add them. And that's a negative because they're both negative. So the answer is negative 27. But that's just the answer for the top part. Okay? So if that's the answer to the top part, I need to make sure that I know the bottom part. Well, the bottom part tells me 5. And so what I need to do is I need to set this up. we've got negative 27 over 5. And that's what it should look like. Okay? Now we're doing division here because we know that that line means divide. Okay? If that line means divide, we've got division. We need to know our nice little multiplying and dividing triangle. This only works for multiplying and dividing. We've got a negative and a positive, and so we know our answer has to be negative. Okay. So we've got 27 was on top, so 27's in the house. We know our answer has to be negative. 5's on the outside. 5 doesn't go into 2, but it does go into 27. That's 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. We subtract. Get 2 left. Now once you're here, that's when we do our shock face. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. We subtract and we get 0. So our answer ends up being negative 5.4, or 5 4/10. And that's the answer. All right, very last question. I know, 20 minutes in, but this 20 minutes will be well worth your watch. We've got a table. It says increasing or decreasing, displays increasing or decreasing in viewers watching primetime television. The change in the number of viewers on Saturday was the opposite. So we're trying to find Saturday, it looks like, of the change of Thursday. So Saturdays is the opposite of Thursdays. Well, Thursdays tells me 7.29, and the opposite, here's 0. 7.29 is about right there. The opposite would be on the other side of 0. So that's going to be right there, which that is negative 7.92. I think I said 29 earlier. I apologize for that. It was 7.92, and we find the opposite, which is just a negative number of that. So we get on Saturday, the change in viewers was negative 7.92. All right, hopefully you watched both of the videos, the video from the in-class assignment, and then hopefully you did these 10 questions. I promise if you did these questions and you understand how to do them, if you did these questions and you understand how to do them, there's no reason why you cannot make 100 on the test. Okay? Make sure you understand how to do these questions, and you won't do bad. You'll do perfect. Do great tomorrow. Come prepared. Make sure you've watched these. Make sure you understand how to do these questions. Make sure you answer the question that's being asked. You will do fantastic tomorrow.